Yorana, warm Pacific greetings to you all. My name is Renata West from Pacific Storytelling, and this first day of July, we are talking about the hot places to be and the hot things to do over the holiday season. We understand that the holiday season is starting to fill up already. People are looking for the destinations that are open, and people are looking for things that are safe for themselves and for the communities that they're visiting. And so we're very pleased to be transported to the paradise that is Tahiti. This month we will be talking with our Tahiti expert, Merehani Parker, who is live with us from Tahiti this morning. And we will be going over some exciting new product developments as well. But if for any reason you have to take a client's call or whatever, we will be recording today's session and sending it out to you as well. So just to begin, Pacific Storytelling, we are a cultural sensitivity training service that focuses on the South Pacific. So if you are looking for anything to do with the South Pacific, we can help connect you with our expert friends all throughout. And we connect the Pacific to our network in North. So enough about me. It's really all about our partner Tahiti Islands Travel today, and I wanted to introduce you all to Merehani Parker. Merehani, are you there?
I am. Hello, Yorana.
Yorana, thank you for joining us today. How is everything going in Tahiti? We've had a couple of months since we last talked. There's been some relaxing of the COVID restrictions and conditions and travel to Tahiti. Do you want to talk us through a little bit of that?
Yeah, well, first of all, thank you for having us, and thank you guys for following us today. So ever since we have reopened the borders, well, actually it is a progressive reopening. Some parts of Europe are reopened, but the first part of the world that we truly reopened to was the US market. So it's very good for us to see tourists again. Even the population in general is very happy to see visitors. So far we're doing good. We still haven't gotten a peak of cases, of COVID cases, since the reopening of the frontiers, of the borders. So we're very happy about that, but we hope that we continue that way. So we are reopening the borders progressively. First the US, and then we have France, some parts of Europe that are reopened. But for now, Europeans can travel from Paris to Tahiti, but they have to fly through Vancouver with Air Tahiti Nui and Air France. But I guess for us today, the most important is to have you, the US and Canada, in the green zone to travel here. So all we want to say is the safest way to travel would be to be vaccinated. So the prerequisite to come to Tahiti, of course, you need to have a RT-PCR test 3 days before arriving. You also need to fill out the ETIS form on the ETIS website. And then when you arrive here, you do have an antigenic test upon arrival at the airport. And for those who are vaccinated, this is the only test you have to do upon arrival.
Right. Okay. So that sounds pretty That sounds, in the grand scheme of travel conditions, that sounds very, very reasonable. And I think a lot of us now who have been traveling are used to getting the PCR test 3 days before departure. I think that's something that we're all very familiar with and know how to navigate now. And the fact that all that's required is to present your proof of vaccination and have one more test at the airport on arrival. I think that's a very, very reasonable request of travellers.
Yeah, Ren, just regarding the vaccination, we have to make sure that guests are vaccinated 14 days before arrival if they got the Pfizer, Moderna, or AstraZeneca vaccines, if they're coming from the US. For the Janssen vaccine, they have to have been vaccinated 14 days before arrival. So in terms of the vaccine itself, we need to make sure that they're not vaccinated below 14 days.
Okay. Okay. Yep. So 14 days post-vaccination, they're considered to be
Voila. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's very straightforward to me, but one tricky part has been about children, because children have been not eligible for vaccines in some different countries. So are you able to clarify if someone were to be traveling with children, what the...
Yeah. I think to keep it simple is you have to be vaccinated to come to Tahiti. If you're not vaccinated, then you have there are a lot of other things that you need to do. There's a testing at first. If you're not vaccinated, you will have to quarantine. And there are 2 other tests that have to be done before leaving quarantine. So for children who are not vaccinated, as long as they're traveling with a vaccinated parent or legal guardian, you don't have to be quarantined. But you have to do 2 self-tests, D+4 and D+8, just before leaving quarantine. It's easier that way, and I mean, it's easier that way. It's easier when you're vaccinated, because, like I said, unvaccinated travelers, it's a bit more complicated.
Right.
But yeah, for children, as long as they travel with a vaccinated legal guardian or parent, we're good.
And is that everyone is tested in the family, or just the child?
Everyone upon arrival, anyways.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
So, look, this is, if we all know, Tahiti is a romantic destination. So very often the children will be left at home, but just in case the children are traveling.
Well, Ray, in fact, we have welcomed more and more families in the islands. And actually, when we reopened the borders, we actually had we probably, for Tahiti Island travel, we probably had 5 to 6 families who canceled because they had younger children. But we had braver ones who vaccinated their kids so they could come to Tahiti. Of course, it is a more romantic destination, but families feel very comfortable coming to the island. So, if you guys have families wanting to travel, Tahiti is also a very good destination. I was just reading the report, not the report, but the comments from a family who had traveled here. They just left. They just arrived in the US last night. But they sent a message saying how the family enjoyed, the children enjoyed. The only thing children said was they felt there was not enough. There was too many options with fish, and they didn't really like fish, but they enjoyed it.
Oh, good. Well, I mean, I would enjoy it no matter what age I would be too. Merehani, just as a quick recap, do you want to remind us a little bit about Tahiti Islands Travel?
Yes. So the company was created 5 years ago, a bit more actually, in 2015. And the idea was really to cater to the luxury market. Most of the inbound operators here were doing pretty much everything, lower and mass, even though mass tourism does not exist here really. But there was no company that was really targeting the high-end luxury market. So that's how Tahiti Islands Travel was created. That's why we were created. And so the way we are different from the other inbound is that we really, really concentrate on private services. For example, we do not provide shared transfers upon arrival here in Tahiti nor in Moorea. In the outer islands, Bora Bora, for example, it's easier because it's not necessarily required because you have boat transfers. There are not as many travelers at the same time. But then we really we actually concentrate on private services, private experiences. We have our selection of products. Of course, we don't have hotels that we're the only ones to sell, but it also comes to how you present the product. If you want to book a hotel, you can definitely go on hotels.com on the hotel's website. But then what you will not get is the counseling, the advices, the recommendations on where to stay, what room category, and what experiences to do.
That's right.
So we have
absolutely. No, I totally agree. And I think it's about having experts on the ground, especially today when everything is changing so quickly. You know, you have to have that local knowledge because the information that you find on Google now or similar is sometimes out of date, you know, and you have to have someone who's doing this full time, and Tahiti especially because it is such a destination where, you know, there are limited ways of getting from place to place. It's so important to have the local team. That's what I love working with you guys.
Thank you. But it's true that, you know, Tahiti is not, especially a destination, is not so much about having a resort. Because if you want to do that, you can go online, you can contact the hotels directly. But to have the full experience of Tahiti, there are other there are the things that you need to experience. You know, recommendations on places to go, on what to do, on restaurants to try, on dishes to try besides the poisson cru. But for that, you need to have an expert. And this is really where how we position ourselves. So this is our team. We have 4 travel designers, and they're the ones at the front, both sides. So you have, well, I don't know if you see my screen, but anyways, and then there's me, and then we have Raymana, one of the 2 boys who is in the product department. But that's all we do. We do not sell any other parts of Poland of the world. Tahiti is our specialty. So you can request anything about the Society Islands, the Marquesas, the Australs, the Gambier, the Tuamotu, and this is the team you're working with. So we have an average of 15 years working in tourism, in inbound operations here in French Polynesia. We don't look like we could have 15 years of experience because we look so young, but we do have that many years of working in the industry, and especially here in Tahiti.
Oh, you know, it must be that Polynesian air. You all look very, very young.
Because we're happy, in fact. It's because we enjoy what we're doing. And every day it's really working about what we love to do. It's really about doing what we love. And honestly, the team that you see before you is very dedicated. Over the past few months, we had to have a reduction of time because, of course, you know, the volume of work we got did not justify working so many hours. But these girls are very, very dedicated to the company and to our partners.
Absolutely. Now, we've got some new product to talk about, and I'm very, very excited about this because I haven't heard much about this before, and I'm going to be learning just as much as everyone else. today. But this looks incredible. Do you want to talk us through this
Yes.
great?
So the Silent World is actually from Australia. And it is going to be based here in French Polynesia for at least the next 2 years. It can accommodate a maximum of 12 guests. It's very, very sleek, very luxurious. And the good thing with the Silent World is that what I really like is that compared to the other yachts here in French Polynesia, the staff on board is really Polynesian. So the chef is local, the girls, the hostess on board are Tahitians, and so you also get a Tahitian experience because a lot of our guests, are surprised that there are not so many Polynesians when they go on yachts. But at least the Silent World does have that promise. So you can definitely go in all 5 groups of islands. I think the boat is going to the Marquesas in the next couple of weeks. But they're also, I think, in July, July. In August, they're going down to the Gambier. So it's really you on board. Rennie, if you want to show the next slide with the rooms. So this is a master bedroom and it's very, very spacious. The minimum stay on board would be about a week. And I think it's 15. I'm not very good with numbers, but the cost for the cruise online is very, very good. I think it was about a million. Hang on, I think it's about $150,000 for a week on board. So the captain is Australian, but he loves the islands, and he's asked the owner to be positioned in French Polynesia for the next 2 years at least. So we do have a lot of requests for yachts, and that's also that's still the master bedroom with the tub and the bathroom. It's beautiful. It's very spacious. But like I said, we have a lot of requests. We have many requests for yachts in French Polynesia. I have to say we had a challenge because we had to often go to a broker according to the yachts that would be in our part of the world at certain dates. It was quite a challenge, but now we have 2 yachts. We have the Silent World and we also have the Latitude that are based here. So it's much easier for us to answer to the requests.
Absolutely. And, especially in a COVID world, I think people really want to live in a little bit of a bubble. And this sounds like a very luxurious bubble to me.
No, it's true. We had actually on the Latitude, the other yachts. And I forgot to say, the Silent World is new in our collection. We went to visit the yacht. It's beautiful. And I have to say I really like it because it's not so big, but it's big enough that you have enough space. There's also a jacuzzi at the sun deck, but it's really your own little place on the ocean. But what I wanted to say was we had families that were supposed to come because they wanted to be on their own, but the mother, I think, had COVID, so they couldn't travel. But most of the families were asking for the yacht, are actually, and it's interesting, is that they're asking for a private yacht, but are also asking for private homes in the islands. They want to have both experiences.
Well, I mean, it's true because, yes, we're all becoming more and more vaccinated, but we've also lived, with quarantine and lockdown and all of that kind of thing for the last year and a half, almost 2 years. So it takes a while for people to feel comfortable again. And I think also people are wanting to splurge out and spend that money on the ultimate experience because there's a newfound appreciation of what what it means to enjoy yourself and let your hair down a little bit.
It's true. Yeah. So Silent World.
So we'll send out some information specifically regarding Silent World to our
and suggested itineraries also.
Perfect.
Then on Bora Bora, we have a brand new experience. It was launched this month, in fact. No, actually, no, sorry, we're in July. It was launched in June, and it's stargazing. Stargazing, we have quite some requests about stargazing, because, well, obviously, you know, the picture that you see is just a Milky Way from the island, so it's not photoshopped or anything. But remember that the Polynesians traveled with the stars. They didn't have all the equipment that modern navigators have, but then our ancestors traveled with the stars, with the currents of the ocean, with the wind, and on that experience, you will be observing the stars, and you will be told stories about the constellations, about the oral traditions. For example, at this time of the year is what we call the Matarinia, which is more the time of, it's no longer the time of abundance. And so you will get some explanations about the stars during that experience. But when the constellation of Matari rises, then you will see it in the sky. And so it adds another dimension to that stargazing. For example, in one of our newsletters on culture, we're telling you the story about Matari and his family, because Matari is part of the Orion constellation. But we also try to share with you. We share with our partners more stories and more of our Polynesian folklore. We're very, very excited to have that stargazing tour. So the stargazing starts. You're picked up at about 5 p.m. depending on the weather. But then first you roll around the lagoon for the sunset, and then you're taken to the private motu to have that stargazing experience. I am looking forward to experiencing it the next time I'm in Bora Bora. But so far, we're very, very excited about it, and the few guests that were able to have that stargazing experience, we're very, very happy.
Oh, just looking at the stars, they're incredibly beautiful because there's such little light pollution out on the outer islands, but to have that explained to you and what they mean, the stars, to the local people, I think is a very meaningful experience. And Matari is also happening similarly in New Zealand at the same time, Aotearoa, where it's called Matariki. And so, if you're traveling down, it's always nice to learn about the local culture and what, whose land you're in and what sort of practices and beliefs that they, adhere to as well. So it's interesting to see that Tahiti celebrates something that also Aotearoa New Zealand does as well, and has done for many thousands of years.
Yeah, true. And as you said, Ren, this is only available in Bora Bora for now. But it's true that because you don't have a lot of lights and you're on a private motu on a private island, there's nothing around you but you, your guide, and the sky. I think it can be a very romantic escape though. And there's, with Polynesians, and you're Maori, I'm Tahitian, there's always, nature always has a lesson to teach us.
Absolutely. Oh, look, I look forward to it. I think this is going to be a fantastic addition to the Bora Bora experience.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And then we have some exciting hotel developments.
Right. So the Hilton Tahiti, which was the Hilton Tahiti when it closed, the Hilton Tahiti is reopening on September the 15th. It's going to be up to the level of a 5-star property. We have the pricing already. It's been released. But as you can see, the trend is more contemporary, more sleek, more light, more modern. And honestly, I really, really like it. So here you have the lobby and the entrance. We have a transit room on the side. But if we go to the rooms themselves, they're very spacious. We're looking at 200 rooms in that building. Some will have a kitchen. Some will just be rooms. But the good thing also is that it's located within walking distance to town. It's about 5 to 8 minutes by car from the airport to the hotel. There will be about 5 outlets for dinner and bars. Just across from the hotel, you have a shopping center, which is actually where we are located. So we see the progress of the work because we're just across from the hotel. But then for those who will have a kitchen, they will be able to come to the shopping mall here and do some grocery shopping for their stay. Mm-hmm. What is very interesting is that they have a stage repeat too, which I think is good because I feel that we have to promote more the island of Tahiti. Absolutely. People just come for one night and then they go to the other islands. And then when they come back, because they have some time, they want to do a circle island tour. And 99.9% of the time, guests always say, I wish we had known that before. So they would have spent more time on Tahiti, do the circle island, explore, go to the market, even drive around the island on their own, do a hike, do a walk. And we are at Tahiti Islands Travel, we're developing a lot more products for more experience on the island of Tahiti. Mm-hmm. So with that said, you have 2 nights you can do 2 nights upon arrival and do the exploration of the island. And then when you come back from the other islands, you can use that last night free before going to before taking your international flight out. But it's a very, very good offer. I think it's something that needs to be considered. Even you guys, when you do your packages or your programs, remember that. And I know that the hotel first is going to be beautiful, but I'm sure also the experience is going to be outstanding. Mm.
Yes, you're so right about the island of Tahiti being really undiscovered. There is so much to see and do. And quite often the flight schedules mean that you have to overnight on Tahiti. But let's reframe that and have the best possible experience so that it's not just a transit situation, but a true Tahitian experience. What I will say is that knowing the location of where the office is and knowing the shopping center, I think it's one of the nicer malls on Tahiti. So you know, if you're looking for last minute shopping, then definitely this is the place to stay with easy access.
Yeah, I would just want to come back on the stay on Tahiti. Yeah? Many times I hear, oh yeah, well, Papeete is ugly, it's dirty, there's nothing to do, there's nothing to see. Okay, this is Papeete, this is a center. But then the island of Tahiti is nothing about Papeete. On the East Coast, if you go on the East Coast, you have the Venus Point. That's where most of the navigators landed. You have the only lighthouse in French Polynesia that you can visit. You have the 3 waterfalls. There are a lot of legends in the Polynesian traditions, and you hear one of those love stories at one of those at the waterfalls of Arumai. You have the blowhole also close to close to the waterfalls. And on the East Coast, we have black sand beaches. I know people don't like it. I know people find it, textually, they said it's disgusting. But you know what? Tahiti is a volcanic island. And so when you come to Tahiti, we'd like to show you our island the way we see it, the way we love it. And we have just partnered with a lady whose name is Tracy Thomas. She's actually from the UK, but she wants to share with you her view of the island of Tahiti. To be honest, at first, I often tend to think that we as locals should be promoting our islands. But you know what? Tracy was married to a Tahitian, but she can share with you her feelings and her view of the island. And it's not a bad experience, because then you also get to see the locals in their natural environment. And I think it's part of the experience that you should have. Then when you go to the West Coast, you have the white sand beaches, you have the Museum of Tahiti and her islands. You can end in Teahupo'o for where you have the surf competitions. But from Teahupo'o, you can take a boat, because that's what I did 2 weeks ago. I was born and raised in Tahiti. My family is from Teahupo'o. When you get to Teahupo'o, there's a big domain that's called John T. Parker, because that's my family's. But then, you know what? I took that boat and we went to the edge of the island, and I was rediscovering Teahupo'o. And I had goosebumps because I grew up there, but then there were so many things that not had changed, but there were so many memories that came back to my head. And so, it's not just about going sightseeing, but then you have experiences. Don't just stay in Papeete, go out. You have hikes. You can do diving when it's the whale season, which is now between July through October. You can swim with the whales, and you can just watch them. You can see them swim between Tahiti and Moorea. But don't think that there's nothing to do on Tahiti, because it's not true. If you need recommendations, Ren is there. I'm there, a local girl, born and raised, and I would be happy to guide you with recommendations on what to do on the island.
Absolutely. So I totally agree. Just kind of going back to the Hilton property, what is the open date on that one?
September the 15th.
September
so
the 15th.
In 2 months' time.
Okay, fantastic.
Yeah. But we'll tell you more when we have more information, but it is going to be awesome.
Beautiful.
We're excited.
That is very exciting. And then last of our new products, we've been covering so much new products this week, but this one is particularly exciting. We all know that wellness is at the top of everyone's mind right now, particularly during a pandemic. And that is both physical and mental wellness. And so to meet the market and to talk to the pertinent issues of the day, Merehani, we have a new wellness retreat.
Yeah, actually, Ren will change this to a spiritual retreat. Yes, so it's the first one that we do. It's probably, I think it's also the first one that would be done by a local company with local experts, or no, guides, spiritual guides, I prefer. So just to tell you how we came about to create this spiritual retreat. With the pandemic, a lot, even here on Tahiti, we had nervous breakdowns, we were stressed, we were worried about many things, about our jobs, about our families, about feeding our families. But then we all realized that we had spread our mind to too many things, and we need to reconcentrate on the basics. And in each other's life, the basics is ourselves. The priority in my life is no longer Tahiti Islands travel or my family, it's me. Because if I'm doing well, then I can take better care of my my family, and I'm more inclined to have ideas and be creative for Tahiti Islands travel. So during this pandemic, I met different persons who are now part of my life and also part of my spiritual development. One of them is Rani. Well, Rani Chavez is an old-time friend. But then we've exchanged on the situation and how she also felt that there was a need for more spirituality in our lives. Then I met a man whose name is Wana Ura Walker. We have books written about him, and he has his family mare, and he does some ceremonies on the mare. We visited the mare with him, and this mare is dedicated to a lady, to a woman, and she's named Tahiri Bahini. And so we are going to open this retreat with a ceremony with him on the mare, because we found him to be a spiritual guide, and he also guides me in some healing processes, and I thoroughly enjoy his presence. Then we will be going to the Marquesas. Why the Marquesas? You've heard about the mana. Mana is the power. Mana is the strength that we find in nature, in our environment. So we're going to Nukuhiva, which is a center of power of mana, and we will be exploring not just the island, but we'll also be exploring our inner self with Rani and with a specialist there on the island. And then we'll be spending 4 days on Nukuhiva. We'll be visiting some places. We'll be in connection with nature, and then we'll be coming back to Tahiti, and we'll have a last day with Hinanui, who's another spiritual guide, and she is also the one who started to guide me in March to find my inner self peace, I guess. And we'll be doing some local rituals before ending this retreat. We're very, very excited about it. So it's going to be from March the 12th until March the 19th. If you want to do pre and post extensions, it's also possible, because I'm sure some would want to go to Bora Bora or to Moria. We're happy to assist you with that. But yeah, that's what we were planning. March is also the month of it's Women's Month, so we're hoping we actually want to concentrate this on women. We have 10 openings. It can be on a single basis or on a double. If you want to share the room, it is also possible. And we're looking at an average of I think it will be about 5,000 euros on a single occupancy for this week. But then the international flights are not included, but everything else will be included. But for more details, please contact Renov or myself, and we'll be happy to send you the detail.
I think it's what everyone is looking for at the moment, just something a little bit more meaningful. And the Marquesas, for those of you who have been everywhere and seen everything, the Marquesas are the most remote set of islands anywhere in the world. Just the land itself tells the story, and it's palpable. We can feel it. So having this take place on the Marquesas in Nukuhiva is quite special as well.
First time. It's our first time. It's not the first time for Rani to have retreats, but then it's going to be the first time we'll have a retreat in the Marquesas, offered by a local travel company. Very, very excited about it.
Absolutely. We're very excited too. So that's all of our new products and experiences that we have for this month. That's a lot to cover. But do you want to just wrap up very quickly about the unique point of difference with Tahiti Islands travel and some of your unique services?
Yes, like I said during like I said earlier, Tahiti is not, it is a complex destination. If you just want to have a hotel, it's easy. But then Tahiti has more than that. You know, there's culture, there's history, there are people, there's sceneries, of course. But then according to what you want, then we will tailor-make the program. We had guests who just wanted to lay back, to be on the beach. We've provided them with that. Some others wanted to have more connections with the locals, then we had to organize that. So it's not just about a hotel on the beach, it's about everything around it, and we were there for it. We were a team of experts. Well, actually, I don't really like experts. I like curators. Yeah, we know, we go, we look, we search, we dig, we try to find gems, and that's what we do. So we are about luxury. We focus on luxury. We focus on customized. We focus on private and bespoke experiences. For example, working with Moana Ura on his mare is very unique. Working with Rani is even more unique. She's people often contact her to work with her, but she decided she would partner with Tahiti Islands Travel, and we feel very honored. Like I said, you have a team of 4 creators just designing experiences, but then we have 2 people in the product department and myself. We work also on exclusive Tahiti Islands Travel experiences. We have a 24/7 customer service assistance, and so you're never alone. Either you or even our mutual guests who are here in the islands. For airport services, unlike the other companies, we do not have a big board where people come and check out their names. We have 1 person for 1 party. So if we have 5 couples arriving that night, then we will have 5 different hosts and hostesses to welcome them. Just one thing I'd like to mention is that we have travel wallets made of pandanus leaves that were woven into pu'ei in the Australs, and they're sent here. So for every file, every booking that is done that is made with us here in Tahiti Islands Travel, we have 10 euros going back to the islands because they weave our travel wallets. We do not make any markup on that. It's just a way for us to promote and to support outer islands economy. So voila, we have private homes, private villas. All our transfers on Tahiti and Morea are private. You have our concierge service, of course, 24/7, like I said. In the office, we speak French, English, and Spanish. But if you require guides, Russians or Portuguese or German, we have that, even Brazilian. Romantic dinners, anything you could look for, we're happy to provide you with that, even wedding ceremonies, whether civil or just renewals or vow exchanges. Yachts, like we just shown, and private jets, helicopter transfers, or tours. This is just one part of the collection that we have. Et voila. So you can follow us on Facebook or Instagram, and just reach out to us anytime you need, or Ren, since she's based on the US market. And I want to say once again that we're very happy to be partners with Ren and Pacific Storytelling, because to us, we have the same philosophy. It's about Polynesia, and it's time that we as locals tell the stories, and we share the stories with you and your guests.
Absolutely. Well, that was fantastic. Thank you so much for your time this morning, Merehani, and thank you everyone for logging on. We'll send through a copy of the presentation and some further information about all of these new exciting products and experiences. But as always, be well, and marururua. Thank you very much, everybody.
Maruru Ren. Thank you, everyone. Bye. Nana.